Seems like one of those same old stories whenever it comes to any of these Jeffrey Epstein linked adjacent lawsuits that you have out here. They end up ending exactly like what you'd expect. You always think that, oh, well, you have this fleeting hope if you're one of these people who are out there. You just want to figure out, oh my god, what are all the rich people doing? Oh my god, I bet they're a bunch of pedos. Yeah, of course they are. Fucking, what did you expect? But then at the same time, if you know the way that this shit goes, most of these civil suits, they're just mostly big fucking cash grabs, and what happens at the end of it? You don't find anything out, and at the end of the day, it gets fucking settled, NDAs are signed, and millions of pounds, in this case, ends up exchanging hands. And of course, the royal family, Prince Andrew in particular, has a lot of fucking money, and he can make a bunch of things just magically disappear, because he wants to save at least a little bit of his dignity. Sure, he can make this stuff kind of go away, and hopefully, maybe the old lady will just kick the bucket and everybody will forget that Prince Andrew may or may not have diddled somebody on an island somewhere. Who fucking knows? We'll never figure it out. And just the same thing with fucking Bill Clinton and anybody else who was on the flight logs, Bill Gates, all of those people. Guess what? Nothing's gonna happen to them. We're never gonna get the fucking names, okay? Ghislaine Maxwell, she can release any of the names she wants. No, everything's under fucking lock and key, stupid, okay? It's never going to happen. She's gonna end up hanging from a bedpost in some fucking cell somewhere under dubious circumstances, because this is the way this shit always fucking goes. Never expect anything different, okay? But now that this is done, we might as well do a wrap up on it, because I covered it when it first got started. But yeah, since this is all over, might as well go through the post-mortem on it. Prince Andrew settles sex case with Virginia Roberts for £7.5 million sterling after exasperated Charles orders him to agree to a payout before Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Really? Is that what we're going with? Really? I highly doubt it, because he was officially severed, okay? He was stripped of all of his titles. He was severed from the royal family during the duration of this trial. Do you really think Charles gives a flying fuck about this? They're still trying to figure out what kind of a crown he can use for the couple of years when he will be king for a minute that'll fit over his fucking ears and properly accentuate his growing nose. Let's be fair. Prince Andrew has dramatically settled the bombshell sexual abuse lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre after he agreed to an undisclosed deal, said to be worth an undisclosed deal. So we don't know all the particulars on it, and we're never going to know the particulars. This is going to come with a full fucking NDA in case you're out of the loop, obviously. This is always how this shit goes. With his accuser, without admitting her accusations. Yeah, because this happened 20 fucking years ago, okay? 20 plus years ago. Don't say anything. Here's a bunch of money. Fuck off. Her documents filed in New York this morning revealed the Duke of York, no longer the Duke of York, or at least not in official capacity. Maybe he will once all this is done, but he doesn't have that title. And Mrs. Giuffre, oh right, yes, she's married because she's been so traumatized by all this stuff. Anyways, regardless, the gold digger got paid. I've reached a settlement in principle on the civil sex claim, but a royal expert says it was very, very unlikely that there is a way back to public royal life for the Queen's son. I doubt it. And one royal source told the Mail Online, I'm sure that Charles had enough of this situation. I'm sure. A royal source said he's sure that maybe potentially Charles was done with this situation. He was the one who's at control, really. Charles would have said, Andrew, that he needed to get this sorted out as soon as possible before the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations begins. Charles did not want this hanging over the royal family this year. Whatever. Meanwhile, a former royal protection officer told The Sun in a dramatic U-turn was likely ordered by his mother. Maybe he just realized that, she really wants to settle and it's only that much? Yeah, we got fucking plenty of that, so don't worry about it. I'm sure the royal family, the British royal family, is still the largest landholder in the world. I think that's how that works. This wasn't his decision, this was the Queen's. Said Paul Page. And added that Andrew's story was full of holes, and the Duke would have been slaughtered in his deposition. What the fuck does he know, okay? Other than that embarrassing BBC, I think it was BBC interview that Andrew did a long time ago. It's tough to prognosticate the future, but whatever. Andrew will now make a substantial donation to Ms. Giuffre's charity supporting victims' rights and praised her bravery and that of other trafficking victims, saying that he never intended to malign her character. Mrs. Giuffre, previously known as Virginia Roberts, sued him last August, alleging he sexually abused her for more than 2 decades ago when she was 17, a minor under U.S. law. Depends on the state, really. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but she alleged some things. While the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was trafficking her. Maybe that's under the context, maybe sexual But again, these are civil suits, and you can pretty much sue for fucking anything. Although the parties have settled, Andrew has always strenuously denied the allegations against him. Yeah, and settling a lawsuit outside of the bounds of the court is not an admission of anything, okay? There's a lot of lawsuits that just get settled out because it's easier to settle it than to spend the time in court, because this wouldn't have been done quickly. Like, he didn't just pay £7.6 million in order to just, skip out on a week of trial. This was probably going to take months and months and months. Would have been hanging over everybody and constantly be in the public conscious for a long time. But outside of this, he signs the check, fucking moves on with his life. Everything's all signed, sealed, and delivered, and he's gone. The Duke 61 said in a statement today that he regrets his association with Epstein and pledges to demonstrate this by supporting the fight against the evils of sex trafficking and supporting its victims. Fair enough. District Judge Lewis Kaplan confirmed in an order tonight that he had agreed to stop the case. He said the joint application to suspend all deadlines and hold the action in abeyance is granted. To the extent that deadlines are suspended, the action will be held in abeyance to and including March 17th, 2022. So if all the final details, if all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed by March 17th, everything's done and dusted. In the event the stipulation of dismissal is not filed by then, it remains entirely possible that this action will be set for trial when previously indicated. But yes, for the reasons that I previously expounded upon, everything could be done and dusted by at least March 17th. An attachment to the letter announcing the settlement to the public and the United States District Court gave brief details of the agreement between Andrew and Giuffre, but indicated the sum would not be disclosed. NDA, my dude, so don't expect any sultry details coming out from this. Attorney David Boyes, who represents Ms. Giuffre, just made out with 30 or 40% of that settlement, by the way, so he just fucking made bank for literally doing nothing. Good on him. It's good work if you can get it. Said the lawyers on both sides were telling the judge that a settlement in principle has been reached and they request a dismissal of the lawsuit within a month, ergo March 17th. I guess probably 30 days because, February, that short little crippled month. The settlement means the civil case will not go to jury trial, and also that Andrew will no longer be questioned under oath by Mrs. Giuffre's lawyers, something that had been expected to take place in the coming weeks. Buckingham Palace declined to comment on the development today, which comes ahead of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations this summer in May and June. Wow, summers in May? We're so close. We're so close. There's still a little bit of snow on the ground up here, but we're just about out of it. Oh my God, thank God. As well as Westminster Abbey's service to remember the late Prince Philip next month. But to be fair, he's been dead for years. Royal sources told ITV News that the case was a matter for the Duke and his legal team. Exactly, but he's not officially a Duke. He's just Andrew. Does he have a last name? But the news will no doubt be welcomed by the Queen. But it was her decision the entire time. Fucking tabloid nonsense. And other senior royals, and will also spare Andrew from a potentially embarrassing series of disclosures and accusations in the months ahead and during the trial. Royal author Penny Junor, I couldn't imagine a more worthless job description, said the settlement is likely to come as a huge relief to the rest of the royal family because the trial could have been very, very nasty and humiliating, theoretically, or it could have been nothing, okay? Because there's another trial involving Giuffre Roberts, whatever her name is. She also sued Alan Dershowitz, but he's pledging to go to trial, and he's got the receipts, and he's going to drag this bitch. At least that's what he's promising, and he's one of the most respected trial attorneys literally ever, so if you guys are looking for a mud-flinging show, just wait for that one. because that's coming up soon-ish. Not entirely sure. Don't really care all that much. All of this shit is just a he said, she said 20 years ago. All fucking nonsense. Ms. Giuffre said the Duke's notorious BBC Newsnight interview in 2019. It was in 2019? Fuck, this has been hanging over everybody's head for a minute. No wonder he was so eager to sign a check. Had been all about him. But that Andrew has got it right now. Ms. Giuffre added he's got it right now. It took him a long time to get there, but I think he got it right. Asked if there was a way back to public royal life for Andrew, Ms. Giuffre said, I think that's very, very unlikely. No, it'll just take something catastrophic. He'll be there in the fold, and then he'll get all his titles back, as this shit tends to fucking go. I don't care about the rest of the gossip. Let's just move ahead a little bit. While the size of the settlement is yet to be unknown, reports suggest last month that Andrew could avoid a trial by using the sale of his 18 million Swiss chalet to pay off Giuffre, with at least $10 million the proceeds. Apparently it's 7 and change. Something close to that. Yeah, 7.5 million pounds sterling. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. A senior palace official told Mail Online compensation figures is believed to be slightly lower at around $10 million American, and the deal might only be a settlement in principle at the moment because the sale of a Swiss chalet has not yet gone through, so that's why they have the little grace period. The source said the settlement will likely be made when the property sale is completed, adding that he would expect Andrew to be in the service for Philip on March 29th. So that photo right there would coincide just about with the settlement of all this stuff. Little would everybody know in this situation. Okay, one of these people would be in jail, one of these people would be down a house, and the other one would be up about 10 million bucks in March 13th, 2021. And boy, is time a fucking bitch. Jesus. But just a little wrap up. What was all in the civil case anyways? What was alleged and what was being agreed to? Well, the Duke of York and Virginia Giuffre have reached an out-of-court settlement in the case filed in the United States, whose Giuffre was known as Virginia Roberts, alleged that she was trafficked by a disgraced British socialite, Ghislaine Maxwell, whatever, to be molested by financier Jeffrey Epstein and his friends, but she wasn't ever in court when Maxwell was in trial at the end of 2021. Fucking weird thing about that. She was referenced a couple of times, but never offered testimony because she was out trying to get hers. Fucking weird how that shit happens now, isn't it? What did Andrew face? Miss Giuffre brought a case of battery and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Oh, my feelings were hurt. It was claimed that she was trafficked by convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. So why is she charging Andrew? Interesting. And others to Andrew, okay, who is alleged to have sexually abused her when she was under the age of 18. Okay, if you were touched funny by others, why are you just suing Andrew? Just asking. How many allegations did the Duke face? Court documents have referenced three separate occasions, in which Ms. Giuffre accused him of sexual misconduct. Wow. Even if he was a creepy fuck, 3 different occasions, and then you get like $10 million American. I'm not saying I wish anybody go through that, but if that type of money was on the table, I don't really know. Seems like something that we might be able to work out. There's an alleged sexual abuse had taking place. Oh, where is the alleged sexual abuse taking place? In her vagina. Giuffre claimed Andrew had sex with her against her will at Maxwell's London home. Maybe that's just an extrapolation of the fact that you got trafficked, ergo, then you had an unwanted sexual act because you were trafficked, something like that. She also alleged that the royal forced her to engage in sex acts against her will at Epstein's mansion on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. The Duke is also alleged to have sexually abused Giuffre on another occasion during a visit to Epstein's private island. Yeah, you know the one. Wonder if any of those sex acts involved like a donkey or a dog wearing a hat and little oven mitts. Just asking. For the reasons Andrew previously given in the case against him to be dismissed, the Duke submitted 11 reasons why. 11 reasons. That was a fucking BuzzFeed article. Why the case should be dismissed, including that Ms. Giuffre's claims are barred by the doctrine of consent and by her own wrongful conduct. Yeah, you were asking for it. Shouldn't have been wearing that little cute skirt and those tight leggings. So yeah, obviously he's going to avoid a civil trial. So what happens after the settlement has been reached, like we discussed earlier, you have 30 days, or March 17th. Ergo, yeah, the 30 days, not a calendar month. So it wouldn't have been, when is this filed? The 15th? Yeah, the 15th of February. So you're 30 days off that. So if everything isn't figured out by then it's going to be going to trial, or an extension will be granted or requested, whatever it is. We know all the details. Money going to charity, which I'm sure won't be funneled back out, and then in a couple of years' time we'll have to figure out where all the money went. And both sides said about the settlement, not much, and hopefully I can go back to my family. So yeah, interesting. No more details if any of you Epsteinites, okay, anybody wanting to figure out any of the sultry details of what went on there. The best chance you ever had in figuring out anything about what were the internal machinations of the Lolita Express, or what are the names, are we going to see any of the Johns that were on there? That was the Maxwell trial. Might be going back to trial. There might be a mistrial that ends up happening. Who fucking knows? But don't hold your breath on that one, because you might end up pulling an Epstein. But with that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. Why don't you follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.